Hi everyone, this is Elisa here. I've been inspired by one of my friends who's also a health coach, Caitlin, to post a story about myself, to not only just share a little bit of being vulnerable and open, because that's very important to understand why I've decided to switch from my past in opera singing to a direction in health and fitness, and as a yoga instructor. Since it's the end of the year, and we have to, for me, and especially I like to teach this in my yoga classes, it's a time to really embrace the balance of stillness with reflection, with action, and setting those goals and moving towards those goals. And it takes time, and it's a hard balance. So you have to look at the past, learn to become present, but also look towards the future. So I'm going to give you 3 stories in 3 separate videos. So today I want to talk to you a bit about my past. I have always been overweight. My mom, over Christmas, she was like, "Elisa, you've always just been muscular. Like you came out of the womb with big arms and big thighs." I mean, she said it in a loving way, but like muscular. And so I've always been, and I was always the tallest kid growing up. I was always the tallest kid in classes, and I always just felt kind of like the big giant in a way, tall and girth-wise, especially in elementary school. Oh gosh, I was at home, I found these pictures. This is me when I was like 10 years old. By this time, we had come from home back to the States from Japan. I lived in Japan for 3 years, from age 5 to 8 years old. And when we came back, we just gorged ourselves on American food, pizza. We didn't walk anywhere anymore, and we all gained a bunch of weight. And I love food. I've always loved food. I have a very interesting relationship with food, and I couldn't ever really get into a full-on like anorexia or bulimia because I just liked eating too much. But that's a different disorder, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so looking at this picture, like by that time I was almost reaching the 200-pound rate place. By 11 years old, I was over 200 pounds. In 7th grade, I decided I had had enough teasing. I have many bad experiences in junior high with especially girls, but also boys, who would make fun of my weight, how I looked, and because I was tall and wide. I was always the goalie because I couldn't run fast, and I had the most surface area to block the goal. And I got so fed up. I would come home punching. I would come home one night and I got so furious. I was just so angry. I had so much anger inside of me. And I told my dad, "Could you please pull out your hands so I could just punch them or just push into them as hard as I can so you just get that anger out." And because I didn't want to feel so dehumanized and ugly and unattractive, and like no man would ever want me. And you're always being teased, and there's a lot of scars because of that. But also with that scar comes a lot of, I recognize now, strength and character strength. So at 7th grade, I went to Weight Watchers. I did the whole point countage thing, and I did it with my dad, but it was so awkward because it was like all the middle-aged ladies and my dad, and then a 12-year-old girl. So it was really awkward. I lost 20 pounds, and then I always hovered around 185, 180 after losing those 20 pounds or so. But then I just couldn't take the pressure of, I just didn't want to weigh myself in front of all these ladies. And so I've always, and then I actually like kind of got out of that phase, and then through high school, but I've always, since I was a kid, I've always been like in the large section. I've always had to look at extra larges. I was a size 18 pants in junior high, size 16, 18 pants. And at least when high school happened and the hormones happened, I at least got like some curves, so it like balanced out more. And people are still shocked that I weighed over 200 pounds. I'll see. I have a couple other pictures from there, but hopefully I can scan them in. But I've always hated my arms. I always hated my legs. I just felt like this wasn't me. Like nothing matched. Like those are size 16 shorts, I believe. But if you've ever seen the documentary Fed Up, there's this girl who was 12 who was over 200 pounds. And I didn't look like her, but I cried when I learned her story and related to her story, because she was so active, and she tried so hard to lose weight and to be healthy, but she was still gaining weight even though she was like supposedly doing all the right things. And she was just, it made me cry. And I remember she was crying. It's just like, I just don't know what to do. You just want to give up. And I understand that. And I was always told to be, I was always on a diet. I always drank diet soda, sugar-free, fat-free. I would get looked down upon if I overate. And I have a lot of shame still with food. I do. And it's unfortunate. And I'm still recovering. I'm still working on that relationship with food and exercise. And because of my weight when I was younger, I felt like I couldn't do anything, like physically. I couldn't run. I hated running. I hated sports. I kind of got into dance because I could feel a little graceful and artistic. And that's what led me into going into the arts and singing, because it was a space where my curves were appreciated. I could be graceful and I could be expressive, and people appreciated who I was in my body and my voice. And I wasn't getting teased, and I didn't feel gross. I could feel glamorous and beautiful if that was the role I was cast in, or I could feel old and be someone completely different because I didn't like who I was. That's why I liked going to the theater and playing dress up, because I didn't have to be who I was. I could be a glamorous woman or an old funny lady. I didn't have to be me. And since coming out of college and opera and singing in that realm, I've had to learn to be me more. And now I'm learning to love me and who I am, and starting to just listen to my intuition that's inside. And that'll go into the second segment later on this week about the presence and focusing on here and now and smelling the roses. And that's something I have to work hard on. But especially since I've started this discovery of deepening a relationship with food, wellness, health, getting into yoga, and this mind, body, spirit connection, I've learned more and more about who I am, how to fuel and nourish myself, what drives me, where I want to go in life, why I want to go somewhere, why do I want to travel, why do I want this experience, and asking questions and questions instead of living life like you're sleepwalking, And I'm so grateful for my friend Meredith Ganau, who got me on this opportunity in June to become a health coach. I've always been kind of interested, but I just didn't know how, from a music background, to get into health and fitness, inspiring others, and getting fit along the way. And thank you, Meredith, and for those who are part of this team, supporting each other, to be not only healthier and more hopeful and happier in our own lives, but inspiring others to do the same and to be who you are. And not be ashamed of where you came from, and using those battle scars to be warriors for health and happiness and hopefulness. And you can be that light. Anyway, I got all the chills. I just want to share that today, especially on New Year's Eve. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow, sharing another little bit of my story. All right, happy New Year's Eve, everyone. And take time to reflect on the past and this year and where you want to go and how you want to live presently to get there. Ciao for now.